let's talk about some of your friends in the past, present, that you can think of that have really made an impression on your life. It could be a family member or it could be a friend, and just give us an example of a few that really have made an impression on your life.
Well, my daddy's brother, Mark, Uncle Mark, he turned out to be more of a daddy to me than my daddy did. And I loved that man to death. And him and I were always doing things together. I'd go to Louisiana to see him. He'd come down here to see me. I'd paint his truck. He would give me stuff. He'd give me a truck. He'd give me a car. That's more than what my daddy ever did for me. And then he was just my go-to guy. I could tell him anything and I could talk to him about anything. And when I lost him, I really lost a lot. Me and my second wife, Millie, we had a little girl, named her Shelley Denise. Beautiful little girl. Born with a severe case of spinal bifida, with many, many other problems too. Heart problems, RH blood factor, and some other problems, lungs. But with the severe spinal bifida, her spinal cord grew outside of her back in a bag. Had she been born through the birth canal, she would have died at birth. But since they took her cesarean, she lived for 3.5 days, which meant that she didn't have no bowel movements, she didn't have no urine, she couldn't move her waist or her hips or her legs. But boy, she had the upper stuff. I mean, she had it going. So my daughter Ann stayed with me to make sure that I was going to be okay. Get this, my daughter taking care of me. And I've always appreciated that more than I've ever told her. I should have told her, but I haven't. And her and I went out to Texas Children's Hospital, and we was allowed to go in. They didn't allow anybody to go in there but just the immediate parents. But I told them that she was my daughter and that my wife couldn't be there because she was still in the hospital. So they let Ann go in. And you couldn't touch the baby because she was in an incubator thing there. You could stick your hands inside in there. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. Shelley grabbed my finger. And that's all I ever had with her. That's all I ever had. Because the next day she passed. And that's been 37 years ago, I think it was. She was born in 74. November 2nd, 1974.
She would have been 37 today.
And I've never forgotten her. And every year around November and stuff, I always, and I'm not saying that to pity myself, but I get into a real funky mood. And I know it's got to be that. And I missed her dearly, and I hope someday to see her. Because she was beautiful. Beautiful.
Well, thanks for talking about it. I know it's difficult to do. Is there anything else, as we kind of conclude here, is there anything that you have that you would want to say to somebody, or not just somebody, but to a legacy that you would want to leave behind for your children, your grandchildren, just anything like that?
My grandchildren and my children, I know I've never told them, but I'm so proud of all of them because they have accomplished so much more in life than I ever thought about accomplishing. Plus, I wasn't the greatest daddy there was around. I just didn't attend to them like I should have. I was thinking more of my personal self back then, and I regretted that terribly. And my grandkids, they're all in church. And I got one that's an ordained minister, and another one that works in the church, and then my son works in the church, and my daughter goes to church, and all of my kids, as far as I know, they all go to church. And I just need to say that you need to find God and find yourself a good home-based church and go to church and just get on your knees and pray to God. Because if I would have done that at an earlier age, maybe I could have been done better. Maybe I could have been a better daddy, maybe a better person. But I just wish that I had of. I'm sorry.
Well, there's no reason to apologize for anything. Life is what it is, and this is what we do. We grow and we learn from things that we do.
Yeah, but some people catch it at an early age. Some people are just stupid and they wait till they get too old to really be able to do something that they wanted to do.
Well, let me say this. I know you don't give yourself a lot of credit, and from sitting here and knowing you as my dad, but you don't give yourself a lot of credit. There's a lot of things that you've done that people just wish they could do. Guarantee you. From the way you can do cars, from the things that you built with wood over the years, there's people that wish they could do those things. So you got to give credit where credit's due. You really do.
Well, those earthly things that I did, that's fine. But what I did with my children after the divorce is something that just really sticks in my craw that I wish I hadn't have done.
Well, I can only speak for myself. There's no animosity from this side at all. Well done is all I can say.
I appreciate that, but wow, it's tough.